Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. My name is Janine McGowan, and I design cross stitch as the Blue Flower. We're here on a beautiful northern Nevada morning, enjoying sunshine and warm temperatures and gardening and all of the things. So it's a good day to get together and chat. Jumping right in with Stitching in Action, we have a super fun one this week. Tanya did the top portion of the Huckleberry farm design, and if I think of it, I'll put in a picture of the whole thing so you can compare. But she took just the top section and made it into a drum, and I love it. And she did some tweaks, properly drunk with power. Well done, Tanya. She moved one of the chipmunks up a little bit so that it fits into the drum, wrapped it all around. I just love it. And then to top it off, she put the beautiful butterfly on top with little beads at the end of the antenna. This is just fabulous. I thank you so much, Tanya, for sending it in. I love it. And I am a huge proponent of especially big projects. Often we will have bought them for a specific element, and then you're looking at the whole thing and you really want that one thing. And so I love just stitching the thing that you liked the most instead of committing to 2 years of other stuff around the bit that is what you really wanted. So there we go. Thank you very much, Tanya, for being so very well drunk with power and sharing it with all of us. As always, if you've stitched a Blue Flower design or you're looking at one and want some inspiration, there's a Stitching in Action section on the website. And if you have one that you'd like to share, go ahead and email me the info and I will be happy to share it with everyone else for you. What I'm stitching, I'm still working on We Love Dogs. That's this one here. And I love, love, love the way it's coming out. It's almost done. I'm so close. I could actually have been finished maybe by this video, but I had to take a little break for model stitching. But I've just got like 2.5 of the medallions and a couple of little hearts to put in, and that's it. So it's gonna be done by the end of the month for sure, and means it's time to start thinking about what to stitch next. Several of you were kind enough to mention the new Scarlet House design that's coming out that has a greyhound. It's a little tiny sampler, so I think that might be the one I do next, but I'm not going to waste any time. If I finish this and I'm not model stitching, I'm going straight to another thing from the greyhounds pile. So I'm very excited about that. This one has been a lot of fun. All right, stash spotlight. I'm going to stop here for a minute because this is the one thing that I forgot to bring to my desk. So you won't know, but I'm going to stop the video, race to the front room, be right back. Well, that was fun. Usually I'm more organized. I wrote all about it in my notes and then forgot to put it with me. But I wanted to talk about scissor storage. I've been talking a lot about stash lately because I picked up a lot of things when I was in Canada, and so now I'm bringing it back to more normal levels. One of the things that I did show was that great inlaid spool for scissor display, but I have for quite a while been looking for something for actual scissor storage of the multiple pairs that I use on a regular basis. And part of the problem I was running into is that I want different kinds of scissors. I want, you know, the heavy duty ones and the tiny serrated ones for metallic threads and the longer ones and the regular embroidery ones, and I wanted them all to be quick and easy. And a lot of scissor storage options that I've seen don't accommodate different sizes and particularly wildly varying lengths in a way that works for me. So what I settled on was this. This is just an old, I'd like to say vintage, but it's just old. An old milk glass, probably a flower pot, cash pot of some sort. I filled it with walnut shells and put a layer of lavender on top, just because I like lavender. But it's heavy enough that it keeps everything handy right there. It lets me store all of the different sizes of scissors in a way that's easy for me to just pluck out what I need, and it's worked really, really well. So if you're looking for a scissor storage solution for oddball things, it's one that I can suggest. It's working really well. And if you have a better one that you are working, that's working well for you, I'd like to hear about it. So that's my stash spotlight. All right, World Around. This one is a bit of a duplication. I wanted to talk about the Sphinx moth, and most particularly the white-lined Sphinx moth, which is the one I'm most likely to see here, and in fact do see. And it's a duplication because I've talked about the hornworms before, which become sphinx moths of various types, and I groused about them eating my tomatoes and peppers and things, and then they turn into these amazing moths that I love to see in the garden. So there you go. Life is funny. As soon as they stop eating my tomatoes, I love them again. But they're actually very interesting, and they've been a hot topic in the local gardening forums and groups, not just because of people trying to keep them out of the tomatoes, but also because of people like me who love to see the moth in the garden. And they're called often hummingbird moths or hawk moths. They're very large and they're extremely good flyers. They can hover, hence the hummingbird moth name, and they like a lot of the same flowers as the hummingbird moths do, but at completely different times of day. So they tend to be active from dusk through dawn, and overnight they like the night flowers. They like anything with a trumpet flower on it or a lot of fragrance, but they're very interesting, and I really enjoyed learning about them. Now, they get their name from the fact that, again, going back to the hornworm caterpillar, it often rests where most of its body is flat and then one end is sort of propped up, and people thought that that looked a bit like the pose of the Sphinx statue in Egypt, and so hence the name the Sphinx moth. It's a large group of moths with some really, really interesting variations, and I'm just going to focus on the one that I'm most likely to see today, but maybe for future episodes I'll revisit some of those other ones because they're just very cool. Now, as I said, they're very good flyers. Some of the Sphinx moths can fly over 30 miles an hour, faster than most insects, and they have a bit of an airplane shape to their body, thin wings and a big fat body. They're kind of fluffy, fat. They just look great and hovering around in the air. They also do a thing which I found interesting. Before they fly in the morning, because they need to warm up, they kind of shiver their whole body to get the muscles going so that they can fly. And that's frankly the kind of warm up I can get behind. I'll have to try that the next time I'm doing yoga. Just shake everything first and see if that has the same effect. They have a very long tongue, as you would imagine, feeding off some of the same things as a hummingbird would. They actually, one of the Sphinx moths in Madagascar has the longest tongue of any insect in the world. It's 30 centimeters or just under 12 inches long, and it is in fact the only insect that can feed on the Madagascar, I'm going to get this right, the Madagascar star orchid, because the pollen is way down at the bottom of a very long flower, and so they're really built for what they need to be. And actually, it was interesting. I was looking it up. Someone had discovered this orchid and said, wow, the nectar is all the way at the bottom of this very long tube. What could possibly pollinate this? And several other people had looked at it and said, well, we don't know, but someone said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Sphinx moth and it's going to have a really long tongue. And then they discovered it later on and said, sure enough, that's the thing. They are important pollinators, and for here in the desert, a lot of night blooming plants. So the queen of the night cactus, the datura cactus, those things are rare plants that are pollinated by the Sphinx moth. So if you happen to see something buzzing around your garden that is not a bee and not a hummingbird and is fluffy and interesting and has little stripy wings, it might be one of the Sphinx moths. So keep an eye out. If they get to that point, they're done eating your tomatoes so you can enjoy them without any sort of regret. Questions. Last video, I asked what you were up to and got lots of good responses. It sounds like a lot of you are doing exactly what you need to on the weekends, be it errands or resting or projects or just what you needed. This video, I wanted to ask, and this one's courtesy of my husband, as summer is winding down, are you looking forward to fall? Are you sorry that summer is ending? Or is it a bit of both? And he said, I know which one you pick because, of course, I love fall and I love colder weather. And he's right, but I think I would have to say a bit of both because I also love long days of stitching. I love getting light late into the evening. I love being able to have the windows open all night and not have it be too cold. I love not wrestling the dogs into their heavy coats every time we go out. You know, things like that. So I was just curious for all of you. Where do you fall on that one? Let me know. Best thing. I've got 2 projects that I can talk about now that have been done for a while, but now I can share them. The first one I don't know if many of you remember, there was a fundraiser done this year for Hearts for Pam with Cottage Garden Threads. And you could essentially buy, sight unseen, a box of designs. And they gave a number of designers this beautiful pack of Cottage Garden Threads in a nice representative series of colors, and asked us to design something. And so we all did something with these threads. If you do get the box, they're wonderful. I don't know if they've shipped out yet, or they may have, but I do know that they showed a picture of my model in the newsletter, so I think it's okay to share now. This is the one that I did, and it was based off the Seasons of the Heart frame. Let's see if we can get, there we go. And I tried to populate it with animals, birds, flowers, plants that would all be native to Australia, where Cottage Garden Threads is located. And so if you can see, let's see if I can see, a little Tasmanian devil, a black swan, let's see some of the lovely lorikeets and parrots, scarlet macaw. We've got a tiny little mini Australian flag version and a bat. So, and this one I don't know how to say, quokka? Anyway, it was a lot of fun. It is in the boxes, and like I said, I don't know if they've shipped yet, but I was wondering whether people would want to just buy the PDF, because I don't think there's any option to get the boxes at this point, and I didn't know if it would be something that stores would want. So if you have a strong opinion either way, let me know. If you're interested, I can put the PDF on the website for you to buy there, and your local shop will be able to get you the threads, or you can play around and substitute your own. There you go. The next one, I am excited to be able to pick this up, which I can't quite do yet. For the first time, I have a piece in Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I am very excited. It's the October 2023 issue, which is out now, and they asked me at Market a year or two ago to do a piece inspired by traditional sampler motifs and sort of hearkening back to the traditional motif and a current sensibility. And so I chose to do a motif from Scottish Samplers, which has an octagonal square and a butterfly, or in my case a moth, very traditional, and I got to write a whole little article about it, which is all in the magazine, but I wanted to share it with you, and here it is. This is Starry Moth, and it is in the current Just Cross Stitch magazine issue. It was also the first time I used one of these little finishing hoops that was very easy, so that was fun. But yeah, if you happen to check it out, you'll find that design in there, and my first Just Cross Stitch publication. All right, on to giveaway. Last week we had the 3 new releases, therefore 3 winners, and the 3 of you are entitled to pick any one of my designs, any Blue Flower design, and I will send it to you, including the new ones, which have all gone out to shops, so you should be getting those. The 3 winners are Barb Mack, Connie Schweitzer, and Linda Spost. So all of you drop me a message or an email and give me your contact information, tell me what chart you'd like, and I will get it headed your way. Now, since we are on moths and bees and gardening and summer, the giveaway this time is actually going to be, let's see if I can get a better picture. Oh, this is terrible. I've ordered, oh, there we go, that's better. Yes, this is the thread keep from the collaboration between Beth Twisted Heartstring Samplery and Paulette Stewart of Plum Street, and it is for their Float Like a Butterfly, Sting Like a Bee design. And I don't generally use thread keeps myself because I bobbinate, but I bought one when I was at Market to make sure that I had it to give away. I do have the charts, I'm going to stitch these, but I wanted to share the thread keep with you. And these, as you know, are made by Beth's husband from wood that grows on their land, so very exciting. And if you would like to win this, use the word like in your comments so that you can either float like a butterfly or sting like a bee, and we'll get this right out to you and you can enjoy it as much as I do. I don't know, it's almost a best thing. I've ordered some curtains for this window because it's a constant battle filming these videos to get the light to not overwhelm the whole thing. So I'm pretty excited, even though I had to order them without seeing the fabric in person. So we'll see. I might hate them, but it'll be an adventure either way. That's it for me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your weekend, and thank you for joining me. We've got a quick puppy video at the end, and I'm off to do a little bit more model stitching, which is always fun, and possibly, you know, some other relaxing things. Maybe go feed the garden plants and take the dogs for a second walk. They always like that. Good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.